Helicopter was the perfect candidate to do just that. Here's a story we aired originally in the fall of 2005.
Broken images from a broken city. Biloxi, Mississippi was devastated by Hurricane Katrina. Now an eye in the sky is checking out the damage.
We're trying to get very near to buildings, so we get better close-ups and from angles that you couldn't get from a larger manned helicopter or couldn't get from the ground. So now we're talking about helicopters, small, that are bouncing around, stuff that even the military doesn't do a lot of.
Dr. Robin Murphy is a roboticist. She heads the Center for Robot-Assisted Search and Rescue at the University of South Florida. Her mission? To develop robotic systems that can help people when disaster strikes. Today, her team is examining a new unmanned aerial vehicle, a modified model helicopter.
We need a bird's eye view a lot of times, but we also need to be able to go up the side of the building, look in windows, or get closer into structures. A manned helicopter is simply too big to get in close to these buildings. A fixed wing has to stay above it, can't get near the trees, shouldn't be near these power lines.
It's been months since Katrina struck, but the team is documenting the damage so engineers will have a record of what happened. At this particular site, the storm surge lifted a huge casino barge, pushed it ashore, and rammed it into a hotel.
Our task here is to provide photo documentation of damage to the structures after Katrina and to develop the helicopters for that purpose. And there's a lot of things that we see that can be done with this technology for the next disaster. First off, you can see that these things provide you the ability to look in houses or go up to the rooftops, see if somebody's in the attic. If they're on the roof, with two-way audio on these, you can talk to the people, see if they're in trouble or if you can go to the next house where there may be somebody who needs medicine. They can carry a payload of up to 6 pounds, so you can see dropping off a little bit of water, a two-way radio, some medicine, something to keep them going.
The idea is to provide responders with all-seeing eyes in the sky at a low price. The helicopter is a battery-powered, remote-control flying model built by a German company called Mikado. Robin's team has enhanced it to give it extra payload and more endurance. And they've installed a camera mounted in a gimbal, pivoted rings that let the camera move around by remote control.
Go out a little further.
One team member controls the camera.
All right, that's good. Hold there.
He sees what the camera sees through a tiny LCD screen in his glasses. He controls the gimbals to point the camera. The pilot also has a heads-up display, but he uses a fixed cockpit camera.
And then you also need a third person to keep an overall view of where the robot is, to make sure it doesn't bump into the building, run into a power line, and to keep the pilot from being distracted by people walking by.
Robin Murphy's job is to study how the team and the robot work together.
We're seeing right now that you need 3 people to run them safely. Now, how can we get that number down? Because it's a large number of people to bring in for an insurance adjuster or for somebody who's doing a disaster response or for law enforcement or search and rescue teams if they adopt these kinds of technologies.
The key to that is to make the helicopter more autonomous, able to fly itself, so only 2 people would be necessary.
Our idea for an autonomous vehicle is really not have a pilot so much as a mission specialist, someone who knows what they're looking for, working with another person with an overview to, again, kind of spot and be sort of a flight director. The robot would take off by itself, do the hard parts of being stable. As it hovers, sometimes up and down's easy, but it's sideways with these gusts of winds. We've been flying in winds anywhere from 2 knots to 12 knots. And the wind changes. When you go up to get an elevation view above the roof line, it changes yet again. So that would be great if we could get that part down. Let the human be the eyes. Let the human drive the camera, but let the device drive itself.
To make the helicopter more autonomous, new software will be developed at the University of South Florida. And in the meantime, the team is documenting the damage caused by Hurricane Katrina. And as far as their eye in the sky can see, there's plenty to keep them busy.
Do not go away. When Daily Planet returns, it may not look like much, but this decades-old helicopter can move like this, or this one, or it could even move like that one. How does it do that? We're going to find out next.
Why can I make key decisions?